Hi and welcome to the Active Code podcast, brought to you by Aspire Active Partnerships. I'm Paul Griffiths, and joining me each week on the pod is Luke Johnson.
Aspire Active Partnerships is a community of like-minded business leaders who all believe that collaboration in the sports coaching and children's activity sector is essential for success. We've proven that working in collaboration does benefit business growth and essentially helps more children be more active more often.
To combat physical inactivity, we need organisations that are performing at their very best. Organisations will only operate to high standards if they are led well. So, if we can focus on developing high quality leaders throughout an organisation, not just at the top, customers will experience higher quality services, which means heightened enjoyment levels and increased levels of physical activity. And if we do this at an early age, we know that we can build the foundations for a more active, happier and healthier life. The Active Code investigates what it really takes to be a successful leader and how organisations can combat physical inactivity.
We won't be alone through this journey. We are joined by business owners and experts from our sector, as well as inspirational people from outside our industry. We'll understand the importance of physical activity to our guests, reflect on leadership experiences, and gain thought-provoking insights on how we can crack the Active Code and get more children more active more often. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and subscribe.
Wayne, welcome to the Active Code podcast. It's brilliant to have you with us. Hi, gents. Great to be here. Pleasure to have you, Wayne. We'll kick off with you. Tell us a bit more, really, about your professional journey so far.
Yeah, no problem. So, I've always loved sport and physical activity. It's been very much part of my life since I can remember. The main two sports I've participated in growing up have been football and cricket. Never quite good enough to be a professional, being brutally honest. I was at Stoke until I was 16 and then got released football-wise. Played for Staffordshire at sort of youth level and did a little bit of professional cricketing only at village standard. Did a little bit locally, but again, my parents really kept my feet on the ground. Never knew I was quite good enough to be a professional, so made sure I focused on my schoolwork. At school, I cracked on, did generally okay in my GCSEs. Obviously, chose PE as a subject, as I was quite good at sport and physical activity. My dad's always had in his head that I would go down the PE teacher route. He'd always loved sport and physical activity and always taken me in there everywhere to do cricket and football mainly. And I think it was down to this regret, if I'm dead honest. My dad was a steel salesman, it's easy to say. And he always regretted not being in the sport industry. So he was nudging me to be a PE teacher. So progressed on to college. And in my head, at that time, I was looking to go down the PE teacher route. Did a few A-levels at college, PE obviously, IT and general studies for its worth. While studying, I'd always been a bit of a grafter. So I've always found ways of balancing leisure as well as education, as well as earning a little bit of money. So everything from a paperboy to a postie. Did work at McDonald's at one point. Trying to find that balance of earning a bit of an income, and that's something that my parents have always pushed me down as well. Used to work in the local pub, still see people around my mum and dad's house where I don't know the names, but I know what they drink. Trying to pass in a straight glass. Yeah, I've always had that work ethic in me. So yeah, once I'd gone to college, went to university, did a BA Sports Development and Coaching degree, and that was just at my local university at Staffs. And during the time at college and through university, as I say, I'd loved football and cricket, so started off picking up them qualifications, them coaching qualifications, and quickly got to level 2. And then during that time, when I was at university, alongside my studying, in addition to a bit of pub work, I also went and did some extracurricular clubs in schools after picking up them qualifications, and did a bit of coaching in the community at a local cricket club and supported a local football club as well with coaching their sort of youth section. As things progressed, to realise that even though it was a winter sport and a summer sport, it filled some of my time. But again, within my mind, I was looking to go down the PE teacher route. I wanted to try and stand out from the crowd and look to do other sporting activities and qualifications, which not necessarily were my favourite, but wanted to offer that variety. So again, from sort of 16 on, did my football, cricket, did athletics, tried golf, multi-skills, tennis, to name a few. And then as a coach, I grew in confidence from the age of 16 to 20. And then my career path changed when I was at university. So in my second to third year in the summer, I went over to the States, did some coaching over there. So we spent 4 months in the west coast of America, which was rather nice. And I went in as just as a sports coach and did coaching camps at different venues, living with parents in the US, different camp each week, which was really interesting, great opportunity. So I was always a bit disappointed that I didn't move away for university and I stayed local, just went to the University of Staffordshire. So it was my opportunity to get out, live a little and experience something slightly different. So when I coached over there, I progressed on from just being a general coach, and that was a mix of football, mix of multi-sports as well, which we provided over there. And then I progressed on to being a manager of a camp. So it wasn't just me providing the activities. I managed up to 4 staff, I think it was at the time. And it was a great experience of managing people, which I've never really done before prior to them. I've managed children, obviously, when coaching, but never really managed people. And I really enjoyed it. And then came back to university in my last year in the process of completing my sports development coaching degree. And as part of my last year, I had to go on to placement. So I went to placement. It was actually my old high school, went on to placement at Trentham High. And then during that placement, I was also sent to a feeder primary school. And this is the sort of ball moment, if I'm dead honest. So, like I said, I got that sort of change of focus a little bit when I went to the US. But then when I was back in the UK as part of my placement, again, I was thinking about teaching, but wasn't 100% sure. Sent to this primary school, this feeder primary school. And I delivered a session. It was a football-based session. And I used to do this on a weekly basis. And then it used to be directly after lunch. So I used to rock up in my purple Clio. And when I parked on the car park, I could see the yard where I would teach a lesson or lessons. And for about 3 or 4 weeks on the trot, I turned up a little bit early, having my lunch in my Clio, and I could see the teacher trying to deliver what I delivered the week before. Not as good. So it's just a bit of a light bulb moment to make me think there's potential opportunity here to not only do extracurricular clubs in schools, which I was already doing, but potentially to support teaching staff and offer CPD within schools to make them more confident to deliver high quality PE. And again, at that stage, it was more games-based that I was looking to do. But that was where Time for Sport came to mind. And then, luckily enough, at Staffs, again, I can't really bad word Staffs because we've had really good collaboration along the years. In my last year, once I've done my degree, there was, best way to describe it, as a Dragon's Den opportunity where pitch your business idea. Have you got something that you'd like to bring to life, et cetera, et cetera? So I rocked up, had a bit of a conversation with my parents more than anyone else. So this is what I'm thinking of doing. Did a bit of a PowerPoint display, which was okay. And through the University of Staffordshire, they funded Time for Sport and basically helped me to get it off the ground. So that was 18 years ago now. So as part of that process, they provided me, Time for Sport at the time, with 2 years worth of office space for free. We had a business mentor to offer some advice and guidance. And then we had about 10K's worth of funding, which was a brilliant start to Time for Sport. The first thing I realised was we tried to set up an accessible website and then we didn't really have many customers. So that was the next challenge of getting people through the door. But that's my progression professional wise, I've basically been running child sport for 18 years. It's been very much a big challenge, and there's been slow and steady progression, then fast progression over the last 3 or 4 years. And I do wear other hats as well. I suppose it's worth highlighting. I'm a husband to my partner Lauren. I'm a father of 2 boys, Harper, who's 9 now, and Maddox, who's 2. Governor at a local primary school, and I still do some volunteer coaching for my son's football team, which I think all give you different perspectives to life and help support you to make better decisions within business. Yeah, that gives you a bit of background to where we are. Now at Time Sport, 18 years later, there's 24 employees. It equates to about 22 full-time employees with a couple of part-time staff. We deliver our services to 7,500 children and families on a weekly basis. Our services are a range of school services, your breakfast, lunch, after school clubs, PPA cover for teaching staff, CPD for teachers, enrichment activities, etc. And we cover the whole curriculum now, so it's not just games, it's dance, gymnastics, outdoor activities, swimming, which is great. In addition to that schoolwork, we also have 4 Ofsted registered venues to provide holiday camps for working parents during the school holidays. We're also in partnership with Stoke-on-Trent City Council, the Hub Foundation, and Staffordshire County Council to provide the PAF activities during the bigger holidays. And then also we are contracted we are the sole provider of family weight management within Staffordshire. So any child aged 2 to 17 and children of 7 up to 25, if they are above their ideal weight, we have a team that support them to get back on track and live a fitter, healthier and happier lifestyle. Yeah, we're moving in the right direction, but it's taken 18 years to get there, but there you are.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks for sharing that. Incredible story, really, there. Clearly, sport and activity has helped shape your career pathway and time for sport. But what does physical activity mean to you personally now?
I wasn't 100% sure if today was going to be recorded, but I've been to the gym this morning.
You can tell, Wayne. You can tell.
So, if I'm honest, it's a way out for me currently, physical activity. And what I mean by that is, as business owners, as you're aware, it's a hectic lifestyle. You're often working more hours than you'd like to work. And it's an opportunity to release and release some stress. It's changed over the years. I think as I was, 20 to 30-ish, the young 30s, it was more that competition element. I used to really enjoy that. Obviously, you see your friends and everything there. But at the minute, it's definitely a way out of a stress relief of not only what's going on at work, but also sometimes what's going on at home. It just gives you that positive headspace. I think that's the key thing for me.
Yeah, and you mentioned you've been to the gym apparently this morning. Of course, you said it looks like you have, but what else do you do to keep active, Wayne?
So I'm nearly 40 now. So if I'm honest, I've always made the excuse when I'd finished competitive sport, and I'd say finished, I haven't fully finished it, I don't think, but I'm after having a break from it, which I don't want to, but I am at the minute. I go to the gym currently 3 times a week. So they're morning slots because I feel like it gives me a bit more energy to get through the day. And it's basically a continuous boot camp, which I do there it's hard work, bit of graft, but it's quick fire, gets it done, stress reliever, and it gives me that positive headspace. And you're with like-minded people with the same thing. They want to do the same thing. Me and my better half, Lauren, I do Pilates in the evenings, not every evening. It's a couple of times a week, sometimes more than that if we're going away on holiday. Seems to be a little bit more repetitive then. And my eldest son, as it was highlighted before, he plays football Thursdays and Saturdays, so I manage to coach that team as well, so that keeps me busy. Plus, I've got a 2-year-old, which, let's be honest, you don't stop with, so it's ongoing. I do miss the competitive elements. I do have a little bit of that with my son now, the eldest son playing football and played cricket a little bit last year. It was less competitive, but still got a bit of that. But I want a bit of that myself going forward long term. So I might get my cricket pads and bat out at some stage. So that's the goal going forward, but not quite yet. So.
And as well as the risk of not achieving the beach body, Do you feel any kind of negative feelings if you don't manage to get your physical activity in each week? If you don't get your Pilates in, for example, a couple of times a week, does it have a negative effect on you at all?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the stress, and if you were stressed, your mood is just all over the place, and you're erratic with potentially decisions. So the big benefit of physical activity, and if you can map that in and time manage that in on a regular basis, is you've got that energy, you've got that stress relief, you're in a better mood. You take time to talk to people which you need to talk to, and then you've got obviously the social benefit side of it. So again, it helps you to relax. You get a chance to meet new friends and have a bit of fun at the same time as well, and it just gives you a bit of confidence. I think is the key thing, because you don't want to be feeling down about yourself. The key thing is you want that positive mindset going forward with everything what you do, and I think physical activity is key to that.
And as well as yourself, you've got, was it 24 people in your team that are probably just as passionate as you regards physical activity and sport.
Yeah.
How do your team go about promoting the benefits of physical activity? Because there might be many families out there that haven't got that passion. So if they're not engaged in physical activity or sport, how do your team go about converting them into living healthy, active lifestyles?
I think one of the key things as well, just to highlight, is as a team, one of the key recruitment, I suppose, topics or pointers is for us, we try to bring some people in that actually love physical activity and sport. And it's a mixed bag what our team do. We've got people that do rock climbing, people that do football, that do hockey, etc. So a big variety there. So I think being a positive role model is quite key to that, to supporting others that are less physically active. We do our best, obviously, to educate about the benefits of being physical activity. Obviously, making the activities and services that we provide fun and enjoyable. Sometimes it's about hiding the physical activity element. So the services which we provide through your partnership, through Aspire, for English and Maths on the Move, for example, is key. It's sometimes key to that. They might have a love for English or Maths, but not necessarily love for physical activity. So it's a great way to embed that in. We do a range of other different things on top of that. It's important you celebrate them small achievements. So especially with our weight management provision, we work with children and families which struggle with physical activity. And it's important you highlight and celebrate them small stepping stones as they progress on. I think sometimes when goals are set, it's important to set realistic goals as well. It's something that it needs to be achievable and personal to them. I think unfortunately with today's society, with the social media, magazines, etc., there's a lot of push of celebrities going from A to B quite quickly, but in real life that doesn't occur. So it's just being realistic of what individuals can do, being a positive role model, setting positive and realistic goals and supporting them through it.
And Wayne, I think you mentioned positive role models there. I think we all need positive role models, and quite often they come through leaders that we engage with. So you've been in business for 18 years. Who is the most inspirational leader or role model that you've worked with in that time?
I think I've got a few, if we're just being honest. I think I'd always reflect and talk about my parents in this period. I think it's where my dad passed away a few years ago, which was a big loss to me and the family. But I do get a lot of, obviously, a lot of his traits, some good, some bad. But my dad was ultra competitive. He played cricket basically all the way through his life up to 64, I think it was, when he ended up finishing. So when he played, he always played hard. Even when he played board games of us at home, he didn't often let us win. So he was quite competitive on that side of things. However, even though there was always a bit of a battle on the way, it never spilled over to anything. So even on the pitch, if he was playing cricket against someone who was really competitive after, he'd be the first person to buy him a pint, for example. So I think it's being fair. My dad was always a real positive leader. And I think he took his competitive elements, his determination. However, never took it too far. And I think I've taken, again, probably from my dad more than anything, is I'm sometimes a bit middle of the road, which isn't great all the time, but it's quite good for business. I don't get too excited about things when they're going well. Don't get too down about things when they're not. So it's just finding that middle ground, which I think I've got really from my dad. Other things my dad did really was he always give you the chance. So especially in the later years of playing cricket, I think he was captain of the third team at the time. He'd always promote youth. So that's one thing we've started to try to do as a business, bringing through apprentices, and that's really supported our growth and development of the business as well. And then on top of that, a few other people to mention is my mum. Obviously, since my dad's passed away, I do admire her. She gets up and gets on with it every day. Mum and dad are together 50 odd years. So to lose someone suddenly and just carry on and crack on with life is to be admired. And I think the lessons learned to be with that with sport and business, being brutally honest. In addition to that, just to big up the team at Aspire for the Accelerate program, which I was on for about 2 years. So I got really positive leadership from the mentors there. So Paul on the business management side of things, I know I've highlighted before that as a business since joining the network, not also joining the Accelerate program, has really progressed. It's doubled in size in that period. The advice that we've received, the part of the training days and support from Luke, more on the sort of customer facing side, has been really good for Time Sport. We've got customer journeys and for the majority of our services, not all of them yet, but that's been really beneficial. And I think that's a great thing to achieve. And then in addition to that, there's also Andy Heald, who I think has supported us, the business, and it's given us headspace to think about the people within the business, not just focus on the customers. So there's a mix there, but again, Mum and Dad, Paul, Luke and Andy really been supportive. And then the bigger picture of that, I always think there's positive leadership support within the network which we're in. So that might be some of the Accelerate teams, the likes of Carl, Adam, Andrew, etc. But also in the wider group as well, there's always positive things going on, and that gives you a bit of inspiration to take the next step or take the lunge to do something different, which is always good to do.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for that. And I'm sure your parents will be very proud of what you've achieved over those 18 years as well. If we flip that around now and focus on your leadership style and you as a leader, I think we've already got a feel for that. And obviously myself and Luke know you as well. But from our listeners' perspective, if we were to go to the Time for Sport team and ask them about your leadership style, what did you think they would say about you?
I think it's changed over 18 years, being brutally honest. I'm not sure if I was that great at the start. I was probably doing a bit too much micromanaging at an early stage, or probably for about 10 years, being honest. But I'd say now I'm a lot more assertive than I ever have been. Once I know all the facts, and sometimes it takes me longer to click into certain things, but once I know all the facts, I'm happy to make decisions, and sometimes them decisions aren't good for everyone, but they're business decisions based on the business going forwards. I am flexible and do listen and take on board everyone's opinions. And with having a strong management team now, that is really important to listen and take on board that information, not just me believing information because I've just heard something on a podcast or read a book. So yeah, I'm flexible, and I would say I'm fair. So assertive, flexible, and fair are probably 3 things which I am, which I would suggest. There's definitely things that I need to work on, but they are the positive things that I can do. So
I'd say as well, Wayne, the kind of development of your team, empowering your team, just the time you've been in the network, we've seen you've created more roles that you might not have had before. Members of your team are progressing as well. So is that something that I think you mentioned your dad was quite fond of that during his cricket time in promoting people or promoting youth. Is that something that you strive to do as well?
Yeah, I think everyone needs a bit of love, if I'm honest, a bit of a foot up at times. So if we reflect back on COVID, if we really want to, there was the Kickstart government campaign to support non-workers to get into work, people looking for work. And a couple of staff members that are still with us today were developed through Kickstart, and giving them an opportunity, giving them a lot of love, a lot of nurture. What nurture is one of our sort of key values. Being patient, but supportive at the same time. But we've got 2 staff members that are core to the business, going forwards. And that was because really we've given it a bit of love, given it a bit of a chance, understanding what they wanted to do and help them progress. So we've done that through providing opportunities, having the correct business structure so there's that development opportunity available, but also listening as well and understanding what their needs and wants are. Don't get me wrong, we haven't been perfect along the way and made mistakes on certain things, and sometimes it's taken a little bit longer for that because we haven't understood the bigger picture. But I feel as though they're really core, strong members of the team now, which is great. So
Yeah, absolutely. So you got patience for assertiveness. If you had one thing that you wanted to work on as a leader, what would you say that is currently?
strategic planning is definitely what I need some development with, or as a business, we need a little bit more development with. I think as a business owner, it's hard not to be fully into everything all the time. It's been difficult for me to let go of certain things along the way. But I'm doing my best now to strategically plan. So things like the budget has obviously just been released, so we're doing a lot of work on that at the minute to see how we move forward to make the correct decisions for the business and the people within the business as we progress. So I do my best now to at least one day a week to work on the business and not in the business. So less firefighting and more strategic planning. Again, to highlight that Paul started to embed this, I think, as part of the Accelerate program. And we did some workshops on strategic planning as well. I've also got a business mentor, which is specifically supporting me with that, because that is definitely a gap in knowledge and an area which I struggle with, but I'm slightly and slowly getting better at, hopefully.
And is that kind of strategic time, is that something that now you prioritize and you block out now? So like you said, a day a week, you want to do that. Do you literally tell everyone in your team, right, I'm probably going to turn my phone off this day because it's really key stuff that I want to focus on during this time?
Correct, yeah. So it's not necessarily a full day like a Tuesday, for example, full day. It's more 2 half days where I can manage at the minute.
The phrase, what gets measured gets managed, was coined by...
Hopefully long term it'll be a bigger day or more time to do that. But they're aware of what's going on and why I'm doing it. Because in the past, for example, if we've had management meetings or we've had huddles with the whole team there, I haven't really taken that time to see the bigger picture and look at our performance and how things are progressing and what's around the corner. It's been more literally firefighting. So yeah, they're aware of that and understand the reasons why that is taking place. So,
well, you mentioned, just throw this question out, you might not know the answer to this, but you said that you've got 2 people that are core to the business and have been core to the business, and I'm assuming they will be core to the business going forwards, depending on the strategic approach that you're taking.
mm-hmm.
Many business owners will be in a very similar position. So if those people are listening to this pod, have you got any tips for those people as to, I guess it's their biggest challenge really at the moment, how do we retain our key people to drive the business forwards? So what have you done and what are you doing to make sure that you do retain those key people if they're integral to your business?
I think it's, again, listening is a key thing. We've started an NPS score for our staff to give feedback on if they're enjoying work, and also some questions around their progression, what they want to do, what they want to achieve. And also being realistic and transparent to what we can offer. We've got a people's journey, which we've developed through about 25% of our staff over a year period. And that considers everything from recruitment, the induction, first 12 months, progressions within the business, etc. And we've, as a management team, we've stepped away during that time. So this has specifically come from our people within the business. So that people's journey gives us an insight of what we should be doing as a management team, when and where, and what is expected by our employees. So a mix of the questionnaires, feedback, listening, and also following that people's journey, which was created by our team members, gives us an understanding of where they want to be, what we can do, and how we keep them. I think a key thing is you can't lose any area of the business. And I've stated them 2 people, 2 individual core members. And what I mean by that is they are customer facing. We could replace them if we really wanted to. And what I mean by that is there's people off the shelf that you could get to a point with similar qualifications, etc. But they understand time sport. They understand what we're about. They've been through it. They know the progression and love and support that we give them. And that spreads throughout the team. So they're good people to have around the place. And they're very much 100%ers.
Yeah, I get that. Has that been your biggest challenge, or have you got other challenges that you've had as a leader in the past?
As mentioned before, letting go. I think it was about 2 and a bit, maybe 3 years ago. So we're talking 15 years of running the business, and I had the sole phone, which customers would ring. So I was happy to get rid of that in one way, but also letting go from, I suppose, the responsibilities and all the jobs that I did. So prior to the restructure that took place a few years ago, personally, I was a cover coach, marketing manager, not great at it, social media, lead, account manager, etc. And you can't do everything well, let's be honest. You try your best, and it's nice to have that flexibility and understanding of all them different roles, but you soon realise when you bring someone in better than you, and that's what sort of has definitely been the focus on our recruitment, is trying to employ people which are better than us at certain roles. So, for example, to highlight Emma on the marketing side of things, she is brilliant, great marketing manager. She's got over 15 years of experience of marketing. I had about 3 weeks, watched a few tutorials on YouTube, how to go at it, failed miserably. So bringing people in better than you is the key thing. The likes of Matt, for example, he's the nicest guy on earth, the Cheshire Cat, smiling all day, every day. Very much a people's person. Great for managing staff as well as speaking to customers. Much better than me and certain elements of that. So them two people really, to me, highlights bringing better people into the business than you, or bringing people into the business that are better at their jobs than you is key. And that helps you to progress and move in the right direction.
And should I assume that the people side of things has been your proudest achievement so far as a business owner?
Yeah, again, giving, as highlighted there, a couple of staff members that have come through Kickstart. We also offer a number of opportunities, placements-wise, volunteering-wise. And I think as a business, we try our best to do the right thing. It's difficult to nail one thing down as a proudest moment, as again, we've gone from delivering, I don't know, me with a bag of balls with 16 kids at an after-school club to working with 7,500 children and families a week through our services. So I think that's probably the best thing we've done. But then personal milestones are also good. Like, again, another person to highlight, our educational and workforce manager, Mike. He is absolutely a brilliant coach, a fantastic coach. And the issues I've had of probably not progressing staff in the first probably 10 years and never progressed as much as he should have done. And of late, in the last 3 or 4 years, he's come onto the management team and I've given him additional roles, and it's a positive thing because I can see that he actually loves his job now and enjoys coming into work and enjoys being part of time sport in the team. So, yeah, very much people within the business, the nurturing side of things there, but also the nurturing and delivery to the children and families we see on a weekly basis. So positive progression is key.
And looking kind of outside of time for sport, Wayne, what are your views on leadership within our sector at the moment?
Mixed, just being honest. I've shouted from the rooftops a few times about the collaboration beats competition every time, and 100% think that. However, some organisations, schools within the sector don't see that bigger picture. I think it's unfortunate, and that stops more children, young people, families being fitter, healthy and happier, being brutally honest, I feel. We don't utilise the true benefits of physical activity to bring the best out of people at times, and it's unfortunate. And I think I understand the pressures for schools on the English and maths side of things and Ofsted pressures, etc. But you can achieve really good things through physical activity in school sport. And that can be educational as well. For example, the maths and English side of things, and maths and English on the move, we need to maximise physical active learning. We don't do that currently, in my opinion. I'm not bad at maths personally. I'm horrendous at English. However, if English on the move was running at my primary school, I'm sure I'd be a hell of a lot better, being brutally honest. So we need to maximise things like physical activity. But the leadership, there needs to be more collaboration rather than competition. And I think that occurs. I don't mind competition. I do like elements of competition. I think it's a positive thing. And what I mean by that is trust. Possibly some head teachers are a little bit backwards at coming forward at thinking about new services. Some bigger organisations are against sports coaches coming into schools, providing services and things like that. And that isn't the way to look at things. I think Simsbury Youth Sport Trust are improving and progressing with that, which is great. But it's going to take a bit of time because there's been too many barriers previously.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier one of your people at Time for Sport, Emma, she came from outside of the sector with a marketing background. Do you ever look outside of the sector at other sectors or industries and think, well, actually, that they're doing something really good? Maybe we could magpie a few of those ideas in our sector to, like you just said, actually combat physical inactivity.
Yeah, there's a little bit of this going on already. So with the iWatch and is it Vitality Health. So I quite like the gamification element, and I think that's more of the obviously IT, computer based, etc. Do like that, and I think there's opportunities there to record more data and have more friendly competition elements to improve health, physical activity. So I think the gamification element is key, and I think that's something that could be introduced. Again, Vitality Health, I think if you do X amount of steps, you get a discounted rate of insurance. If you've got an iWatch, obviously you can see and have competitions against your friends and things like that. And I think them sort of things, virtual school competitions, there needs to be more of. There's always the excuse in schools, we haven't got time, we haven't got a minibus, we can't get over to there, we haven't got the facility. If we do it virtually, we seem to jump on the bang straight away during lockdown when we had to go virtual. We need to maximise what we've learned from that, in my opinion. And again, it's collaborating on that. So, yeah, gamification is key, and that can help with learning, increase physical activity levels. So, yeah, that would be my answer to that.
Like it. Thanks, Wayne. We always ask our guests at the end of a podcast if they would like to share ways in which other people could enhance their leadership skills or their skills within their business. So do you have any books, podcasts, or individuals that you'd recommend to our listeners?
Yeah, I'm not a great book reader, being honest, but I've got a few that I've read over a few holidays, being honest. But I go back to them and sometimes listen again on podcasts, if I'm dead honest. An audiobook does me better than actually reading more. But I've got a few, which could be audiobooks or you can obviously pick off the shelves. So it's Never Lose an Employee Again. So it's a simple path to remarkable retention. And that's through an author called Joey Coleman. And again, it's a bit like the people's journey. So it highlights the different points in the journey from the recruitment, the induction, etc. And just gives advice and tips around each section and progression. And uses examples from national organisations, what they've done well, what they haven't done well. So that's a good read. In addition to that, and I think this has been mentioned before, is Traction by Gino Wickman. And that gives you steps on starting from the start. So setting the values, writing your mission statements, your sort of long-term planning, and you're setting targets, etc. So that's a real good book for managing and the process of business, I think. The first one was more on the people side of things. And then podcast-wise, obviously the Active Code, definitely shout out to that. I think I've listened to every recording so far. Often when I'm doing something in the garden or trying to do something productive at home. Other things that I listen to is Diaries of CEO with Stephen Bartlett. I think there's offers a bit of variety there. Not all business-minded, but a variety of backgrounds. And then the high performance podcast as well with Jake Humphries. I do enjoy that. So I'm a bit of a weirdo, really, if I'm dead honest, because when I go for a run, which is not very often, I listen to podcasts rather than listen to music. And my other half thinks I'm very strange for doing that, which I probably am, but it takes my mind off things, even though I'm listening to business-related information along the way.
It's a great way of multitasking, right? You need to maybe throw that one back in. So a lot of people say men can't multitask, and you're listening to a podcast and running at the same time.
Yeah, not very fast though.
It doesn't really matter. It means you can listen to more podcasts. What one thing, Wayne, can organisations in our sector do to crack the active code and get more children more active more often?
I've already said this one really, so collaborate is key. Time sport don't have all the answers. Not one organisation does. So it's important that we work together. And then there's a quote from Henry Ford: if everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself, which I think is a great quote. There's always going to be challenges and barriers to physical activity, to any services or any sort of business you're delivering. But I think if you collaborate on things, it makes things a hell of a lot better. And again, to highlight SIMSPA, Youth Sport Trust, it's early days with that. I think they are very much improving things and highlighting that organisations such as Aspire, Time Sport, etc., are doing real good things within the industry. And I think if we collaborate together with local authorities, schools, the NHS, charitable organisations, we can do better things and would have a fitter, healthy and happier nation.
I don't think I could have said that better myself. But the whole collaboration thing is brilliant. It's what we bang the drum about, and it's good to hear that you're on the same page. And I know you are anyway, Wayne, but yeah, bang on. So thank you so much for your time. It's been great. It's been a really good 40 minutes. It's been really insightful to hear your background and your approach to how you've been successful over those 18 years, and very much focused around the people side of things, which is no surprise really. We've got to know you over the years, but I wish you all the continued success for Time for Sport. I know you do lots, and it's great also that we've got organisations in this space that are still looking at ways in which we can look in other areas. So the work you do, for example, with the local authority and the weight management program there's not many organisations that do that in our sector. Congratulations on the impact you're having now as well. So thanks so much for your time. All the very best, and please keep listening to us when you go on those long runs.
Cheers, Wayne. Thank you, Jed. Thank you. Appreciate it.
To subscribe to the pod, search for the Active Code on your podcast app. Let's work together to get more people more active more often.